this is Jim from the band Hedra. I'm the vocalist of the band, and this is Nat here, who's going to be helping me out with the topic today that is basically asking you guys what you think constitutes a great vocalist, or good vocalist even. I don't think it has to be a great vocalist, but what do you think constitutes a good vocalist? And we'll read your comments on the chat, just waiting for you all to come online now, and yeah, we'll hopefully get going shortly. What do you think constitutes a good vocalist?
Well, I think that my opinion is going to vary quite a bit from you, because I view music quite differently to you. Okay. So the reason being is that I'm not into music like you are. So
when you say into music like I am, what do you mean by that?
Well, you understand music, you play it, you sing it, you live and you breathe it, and your whole life centres around it. Whereas for me, I just go by what makes me feel good and what I like the sound of. So I don't always, for example, know when what I don't know when what particular instruments are being played and things like that. Does that make sense?
What instruments are being played? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. So you hear it as a whole thing.
Yes.
And you like your brain translates it as the whole package.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the most common thing. But what do you think constitutes a good vocalist? And let's look at some of your favourite singers, for example. Give me a singer, and tell me why you think they're a great vocalist.
Okay. I particularly like Freddie Mercury, because I think he exudes a particular presence. I think he is able to make his own songs, he writes them, he puts a lot of passion into what he sings.
Yeah, he does.
He sounds good.
Did.
Yeah. he sounds good, or he sounded good. And I think...
Oh, look, your friend Sally's watching.
Hello. Hi, Sally.
We were just talking about you yesterday, weren't we?
Oh, we were. All good things, Sally, so don't worry.
And Gav's watching. So Freddie Mercury, what could be said about him really in his vocal style? He had like a good deliverance of a voice.
He had an aura as well. Where
so aura is important.
Definitely. It's about, I think people buy into the person and what they represent, as well as just what they're singing. So obviously somebody has to have a good voice and it sound nice.
Can we lean forward?
Sorry. They have to sound good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What does that mean? What's sounding good? Because you look at like Lemmy from Motorhead.
Okay.
In my opinion, he didn't sound good.
Okay.
At all.
So why was he successful then?
Because for me, he was like a really unique style. Okay. And I think obviously like with these kind of things, the image is something to do with that as well. It had a trashy image, so his voice kind of suited that whole arrangement of that particular band. But I really don't think his voice was my cup of tea.
Okay.
But millions of people still say he's a great vocalist. But I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say, really, because everybody's got a different opinion on what a good vocalist is. Agreed. And that's why we're here today, to find out. Now, I've been reading some of the comments over the week from some of you, and it's like a lot of people say like they have to have a good vocal range and being on pitch.
Yeah, I think those things are important, definitely. But I think it's more than that as well. I think a vocalist sells the song. So how you perform, I think, is important. And I think passion is really key.
But, I mean, yeah, but you could argue I do all those things.
Agreed. I think you're a very passionate singer. Definitely.
But it doesn't mean I'm a good singer.
But your tone is good as well. And you're able to...
Millie's joining in.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
She might have a little sing-along.
She may well do, bless her.
That's another thing as well, though. But
Yeah.
people kind of confuse singer with vocalist. Do you know the difference between the two?
No. So what would you say is the difference?
Well, a singer, it kind of says what it is on the tin. Like a singer sings,
Yeah.
a vocalist uses their vocals to create a style. Again, go back to Motorhead, go back to the Screamo thing, where like everyone's shouting in a certain way, or you know, that's being a vocalist, or even I don't know what I could probably say, but there's bands now experimenting with just noises, you know, like, and all that, and they're breathing in and drawing the air into the back of their throat muscles to create this really kind of weird squeal core or something noise. Somebody's going to like respond with what that's actually called, but yeah, it goes out of my head what the name of that is. But like that is being a vocalist, where you're pushing the boundaries of what your throat can do and creating an artistic noise with it. And some of it I think is absolutely great because I couldn't do it. But yeah, some of it I just don't get it because I've been brought up in a pop environment, I suppose, in the 80s, you know, Top of the Pops and blah blah blah.
Fantastic era, by the way.
And only getting into metal from about the age of 16, I think I was. You kind of get told from watching these TV programs of how the arrangement and sound should be for that particular era you're watching it. And now, when I watch these kind of things on telly, like, I don't know, let's just say Jonathan Ross has a special band on, or who else? You know, you watch these things and you think, that's not... They've got a guest appearance from, I don't know, let's say Sam Smith.
Okay.
And I think, well, that's not anything different. So for me, being a good vocalist is also being slightly unique. It doesn't have to be completely unique, but it has to have something about them that isn't just something to look at, but they have to sound like they're bringing something new to the table.
I think you're right. I think uniqueness is really key, and it's about being able to like identify that sound or that voice at any time. So if we go back to somebody like Freddie Mercury, for example,
let's have a look. Sue's watching, Natasha's watching. Are you going back to Freddie Mercury again?
Yeah, sorry.
You can't keep going back to Freddie Mercury. It's
Well,
not all about Freddie Mercury, although it
he's a good
is.
example. He's a
It
really
is.
good example.
I suppose he's a good baseline if you want to kind of
Yeah.
calculate how well you're going to do as a vocalist. Just look to Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
So yeah, carry on.
And it's not just about how you mentioned about how you look. It's not just about how somebody looks. Now, Freddie had his own style, let's say, and he was unique in his looks. He wasn't somebody that I would go, oh, particularly, but you cannot deny his vocal, and he had a range.
Yeah.
I mean, he could do... He's the only one that kind of brought opera into some of the music and things.
Which was quite an unheard of
Most
thing
definitely,
at
and
that
it
time.
worked as well. You know,
Surprisingly worked, yeah.
he tried. He tested boundaries as well with what he could and couldn't do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the same song again and again and again.
No, it wasn't.
It was that uniqueness that I think you mentioned.
I mean, Queen as a whole did a particularly good job of making every song they did sound different to the next. I don't know if you can think of one where you could say, oh, that sounds a bit like that one.
No.
There isn't really.
And another thing they did is they utilised, or they thought about their fans as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
like
very much so.
The one with the clapping.
Yeah.
They designed that for the fans,
Yeah,
didn't they?
Really rock you. Yeah. Yeah, I do think when you're writing music, you do have to kind of think of what the response is going to be.
Definitely. Because you're actually providing a service, aren't you? It's a bit like customer service. You're providing a service to people who want to listen to you.
Yeah.
So, for me as a listener, it's important that I'm involved in some way, either in the lyrics or the chorus or it's really important. I don't really know how to portray that, but it does make a difference. Yeah, big time.
So let's have a look on our comments section. There's no one's commented on what they think is a great singer yet.
Oh, maybe we're covering everything.
I don't know if we are. I don't know if we are. So yeah, if you've got any comments, pop them in, and we'll try and answer them. What other singers would you constitute as a good singer, and why then?
Okay. One of my heroes is John Bon Jovi. Bone of contention for you, but he has a presence when he's on stage. Again, a bit like Freddie Mercury. Sorry, I keep coming back to Freddie Mercury.
Do you think he has a presence, though? Really?
Maybe it's just his looks.
Yeah, I don't think he does. It's my personal opinion, because I don't fancy him. You know, I mean, he's a very good-looking bloke, but you know, when I think about watching some of the live videos that I've seen over the years of Bon Jovi, he pretty much always just stands by the microphone, and I don't really see him running around, especially not these days, because he's knackered, isn't he? But
maybe I'm swept away by his looks.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay, let's go.
But did he have a unique voice?
Yeah, I could always tell it was him.
Very straight voice, you know, like there wasn't really that much experimentation in terms of low vocals or high vocals.
No.
It was very, I think.
And maybe some of his songs sounded a bit more samey.
Yeah. So Nico Bigil has said, I think what constitutes as a good vocalist is someone who is comfortable and aware of their range. So, you know your boundaries and stuff when you're gonna sing songs, and that's something that I've often pushed myself to improve. So exploits their strengths while still working on their weaknesses to become an all-round versatile singer. Yeah, and that's kind of, again, something I try and do. Variance.
Yeah.
Try not to do the same thing all the time. Find your identity. You know, and that comes with practice in the rehearsal room. You start to see what you can do in that sort of time where you can shout your loudest.
And I think your songs show that as well. In fairness,
Yeah, hopefully they do,
range,
because
yeah.
I mean, we started off in 2014 with just a load of riffs that Camille had created, and I didn't really know what to do over the top, so I just did my usual old school hardcore throaty thing and shouted over most of it. And then, like, you know, for a couple of bits, tried to put some melody in it, although there wasn't really any melody in those songs for me. But I tried to put some in there, even though they didn't exist. And when I did that, I actually really felt more comfortable with the melody bits. But everyone said to me, you know, after shows and things like that, they said, your shouty vocals are awesome. Your screamo, well, they call it screamo now, but I called it hardcore vocals. Your hardcore vocals are awesome. I don't think you need to do the melodic bits. And I suppose that's a nice way of saying your melodic bits are shit.
Sure it's not.
But anyway, it carries on. Nico's carried on here. Yeah, exploits their strengths while still working on their weaknesses to become an all-round versatile singer. I won't say someone who can switch between clean and screaming, because I think you can focus on either and do either really well. As a screamer myself, I know I'm not good at clean singing. Nor do I care to put myself in the situation, in that situation. It's all about comfort level and really just knowing yourself and what you're capable of, and obviously practice. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to agree with that wholeheartedly, because I think it is knowing what you're comfortable doing. Oh, look, someone's commented here as well with crowd participation is a mega thing, to be honest, and that's what it goes back to what you were saying with you know, like making sure that you've prepared the songs well enough to involve the other people. So Natasha said Connor Mason, Nothing But Thieves, has an amazing vocal range. Yeah, it's a bit like sort of Muse style vocals, and with him, sorry, I missed that down. And with him, when he sings, you can feel the lyrics. Having the passion for lyrics and participating in the crowd is a big win, in my opinion.
Totally agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're there. I think you have to feel music, and if the vocalist is able to make you feel something,
yeah,
you've won, really.
And Carolyn High has said, few caught you. I don't know why. Don't know why she said that, but yeah.
Reeled in.
Caught you, you bastard. I think a good vocalist is someone who can get the message across in the right way and is the right fit. You don't necessarily have to be a proficient vocalist, says Simon Nicholson. Mm-hmm. And I could go towards Nirvana for that, because again, he was a terrible vocalist, but proficiently terrible. He was terrible every time. They practiced their songs a hell of a lot to make sure they were trashy, disgusting, but always in the same way.
Yeah.
And some people would say, actually, he wasn't a terrible vocalist, but, you know, that's my opinion, and everybody's got their opinion. I think he was a terrible vocalist, but I think Nirvana were an amazing band because they created something that didn't exist. You know, it was raw, it was energetic, and do you think Cobain had an image about him that worked? Yeah?
Most definitely.
Was he a handsome man? Because I know you say you only go for these people that are good looking. And, you know, that's all part of the music too.
It's part of the package. I wouldn't say it's part of being a good vocalist. It adds to it. Let's say it adds.
Do you think that's why we're struggling so hard? I think, yeah, no, we've got Camille. He's a handsome fella, and Daniel, and you know, I'm not so sure. I mean, James is a pretty boy as well, isn't he?
You're all nice looking.
You know,
you're all nice looking, babe.
Yeah. Well, I was once, and I just got older, and now the cracks are showing.
All these things happen.
Yeah.
But you do have to have, if you're going back to about not just how music feels, but the package of it. Right, if
the package.
It's true. If I give an example.
So, like, you know, in the 80s, bands got bigger because, like, they had tight trousers on and you could see their package. Is that the example you're going to give?
Well, no, but it's a good point. These things can assist in fans.
Yeah.
But, if we take, for example, somebody like Susan Boyle, okay, and I know that's a tad extreme here, but she has an amazing voice.
You're being a bit imagist.
Maybe, but...
I know what you mean.
However much you appreciate her voice, you maybe wouldn't want to go and visit her in concert.
Well, not if you're into heavy metal. You definitely
Well, no,
wouldn't.
but what I'm saying is, yes, she's pitch perfect. I'll
Carolyn's foot, a girl likes a package.
have to agree with you there.
Having a stage presence and charisma helps, just like
Definitely.
the above comment, to
Yeah.
involve the crowd.
Somebody, okay, let's take Susan Boyle. Let's take somebody like Prince. Now, their concerts would be totally different, not just because of the music, but because of the performance. And the performance is something that helps make you feel. You get invested into that. And it is. It's about how it makes you feel.
It is. Let's talk about me. So,
Let's talk
you've been
about
to, probably over the years, quite a few of our shows. It's unbiasedly,
Okay.
that was very Alan Partridge.
It was.
Unbiasedly, let's talk about me. And what is your opinion of our live performances, or me as a vocalist?
Okay.
And you can talk a bit louder. Come a bit forward.
Oh, sorry.
People want to hear what you think about my band.
Well, because I'm not a music person.
Yeah, because you're totally unbiased.
Okay.
And you're looking at the whole package, but not my package.
Well, me and Carolyn agree on these things. So, what I like about your particular vocals is how much effort you put into it, and the fact that you bring the songs alive. If you were to stand there and just sing and not do anything else and be a bit monotone, it would be really boring.
So, the range, or what is it?
God, yeah.
See, that's another thing, range. I think there's been a few people that have commented on range as well.
Yeah, range is totally important because it takes you to different places. If you think back to music, it actually, when you hear, it does things to the hairs in your ears that makes you actually like it or not.
Puts worms in them.
Kinda.
Earworms.
So it's that actually causes sensations for yourself. So the fact that you're able to do that range means that your hairs flutter, I suppose.
And the fanny flutters.
Well, that would help, yeah, going back to the package. But
I mean, I'd expect that from you, but no. But if you put me next to Kurt Cobain and asked us to have a sing-off, who do you think would win?
depends what you were singing, maybe.
The same song. We were both singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit" or whatever it's called. This is what I'm saying is it is so subjective.
Of course,
And it is something that can, trigger off arguments. Like we see Motley Crue as an example. We see as they get older, people going, "Oh, they're shit now," and he's lost it. But what about it? Has he lost? And for me, it's like what other people have been saying in that you have to keep hitting those notes.
Mm.
As soon as you stop hitting those notes that you originally knew were within your boundaries, then you either need to go back and have training, or you say, well, actually, I can't do it. And
yeah.
and a lot of and a lot of people don't understand, as you get older as well, your muscles wear out.
Of course they do. I mean, you think we saw Judas Priest not long ago.
Yeah, so what you have to do is drop the... What they do is they drop the key of the music to allow them to do it.
But his range is...
Yeah, even though they've dropped it down a key, he's still got it, hasn't he? But I noticed with, like, Rob Halford, that Bloodstock thing, that he just wasn't holding... Where he used to do those really high-pitched... for ages and ages, they suddenly sort of shortened quite a lot. It doesn't matter because he's still
able to hit that
good performance, and you know the same goes with Bruce Dickinson as well. He's still got it, but then if you look at Paul Di'Anno, who was the first singer, he's not really got it, unfortunately. And I think those first two Iron Maiden albums are my favourite because they were raw and, you know, just again a different style that no one else has done. Paul Di'Anno had such a unique voice, and I've never heard anything like it since. So for me, being what constitutes a good vocalist is having a unique style, not copying someone else's. You know, like I want to sound like Machine Head. That was a common thing in the 2000s. Every band and vocalist wanted to sound like Machine Head, and it got really annoying to the point where it was like a bit of a piss take on the scene, like, oh god, there's another Machine Head band, and it, you know, that wasn't from me, that was from some of the peers that I used to hang around with. But yeah, uniqueness and the diversity in your range, the being on pitch, and sexiness is very important.
Afraid it is.
Yeah. One thing my dad told me growing up is that you'll only ever get somewhere in life if you're intelligent, rich, good looking, or strong. So I don't know where I fall in within those four things, but it is true in the sense that you see like some of the bigger bands and there's more girls there than boys because, you know, the singer's hot. Bon Jovi. Lost Prophets, we can't talk about them really because the singer of Lost Prophets, you know what happened to him. But yeah, sadly, if that is the case, then we're fucked.
Well, not in my opinion, obviously, but...
Carolyn says, your vocals come from the gut and have that punch to the visceral. So, yeah, they do.
And again,
because that's all I've got, basically. I've never done training or anything like that to learn how to sing. I don't follow YouTube videos apart from maybe I've watched a couple of Melissa Cross videos, and I'm always getting told off by my band members for smoking and drinking and not looking after myself. But I think, you know, considering I never really wanted to be a vocalist, I did a pretty good job for what I've done. And that's putting in the lyrics and stuff. I do think actually that's something that people forget about the vocalist as well, is that they've got to write the lyrics and the patterns of the song and make them fit in the right way. Some people just go, oh, I'll just write the lyrics and then splatter it in wherever it fits, and it causes this disorganised arrangement. But you can easily work out the arrangement of where to put the vocals, and a good example of that is if you listen to the Metallica demos and stuff. James Hetfield will do these things while he's working out the vocals. He'll go "Wa-na-na-na-na-na-na, wa-na-na-na, unforgiven," and stuff like that, and it's quite amusing listening to it, and it's quite nice of them really to actually put that out, because nobody wants to hear that really, but he's showing everybody the way he writes. And there's quite a few bands that do expose themselves like that, and when you listen to those demos you think, well, they're not a very good vocalist, and it's not till they get to the actual recording stages that you discover that they are really good vocalists, and there are some that are just naturally good vocalists, like my Devin Townsend. I'm a big fan of Devin Townsend, but he just does it.
Oh,
and
it's amazing.
He learned how to do that from having jobs as a teenager, like, you know, working in fridges and stuff like that. You know, he'd shut the fridge door and go, "Ah!" He'd shout his throat out as high as he could until he learned which ones he could hold and which ones he couldn't. And it is, again, going back to the earlier thing of knowing what you're capable of, and not going outside of that for the live show until you're completely aware that you're able to go to that next level.
Yeah.
And I've had a few moments, like with the Polaris EP that we did. It was done in G sharp, and that meant the vocals were a little bit higher, and it meant that they would wear out a little bit quicker. So, like, we'd have a 3-hour rehearsal, sometimes 6-hour rehearsal, and by the end of it I could feel the pain in the side of my throat, just to try and hold the notes a little bit higher than what's natural. So we brought everything down to just standard G, a little bit lower, and even with that, after like 45 minutes, being, you know, nearly 50, it still kind of starts to hurt. The very last song, usually after 45 minutes, is like, oh fucking hell, I'm done. I can't breathe anymore, because it's not something I do every day. But if I did it, if I was doing it every day, I'd be doing the vocal exercises that somebody said is important in a band. So I'm still trying to get to do gigs every day, because I don't want to sit in a room and just go la 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 la, or sing along to other bands. And that doesn't interest me. I'm not a singer.
But that's really interesting, because again, our viewpoints are completely different. You see it from a vocal point of view. I just see it as a listener.
Yeah.
So,
well, you hear it as a listener.
Well, yeah. I hear it as a listener. So that's really interesting to see what effort gets put into it, and you don't realise that as a viewer or a listener.
No, but I still get embarrassed when I have to go, because we record upstairs, and I hate the fact that someone can hear me failing. And I know you're fine with it, aren't you? But
I'm used to
it. For me, I'm like, oh, this is weird. Or if I get it wrong, I tend to go, oh, fuck! Which,
well, at least it shows you're human.
I am only human.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times, like during the summer we were recording, I couldn't do it with any clothes on. So I had to do it naked. I had to do the whole thing completely, because it's padded in this room, and it's a small room, and it was beaming hot.
Maybe something you shouldn't share. Might put some people off, babes.
Well, no one can see it. They could hear it.
Yeah, but now they hear.
They can't hear it in the music. Well, you might hear something clacking.
If it was that hot, it wouldn't clack it.
No, well, it was, yeah, because it was stiff. No, that's too much information. Too much information. But yeah, so really, to conclude this, what constitutes a good vocalist is.
Come in. What have we identified?
Originality.
Yes.
Range.
Yeah.
Image. Did we talk about image?
I think image is a huge part of it. Yeah.
But Susan Boyle.
She hasn't got the full package.
Yeah, but do you have to have the full package, or can you just have one of them?
It depends what you're trying to achieve, maybe. If you had the Susan
Well, I
Boyle...
want people to listen to my music at the end of the day. I don't want, to be honest, like, we don't really do this sort of thing that much, because we just want people to hear the music. So we're trying to change it and be a bit more confident with ourselves and say, look, we're not a bad bunch of people.
You're not, no.
We want people to know who we are. So for me, I don't think image really constitute a good vocalist. It might constitute a good band or a good...
I think if you're wanting people to come out and actually see you, I think you've got to have that image, and I think you've got to have that stage presence.
Stage presence.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
Okay.
So the interaction, the singing for the people,
definitely
is really important. Which, you know, I've kind of always done that. I always try to involve people in what we do,
and that's important.
And I've always said, you know, if anyone wants to come up and sing on the stage with me, you can come sing up on the stage with me, and I've always done that. And I've got a video on my personal YouTube where I've done that, and there's about 20 people on the stage all shouting. I can't remember the chorus of one of my old songs now, but they're all shouting it, and then after they shouted it, they did a stage dive off the stage, and it was brilliant. Those days were great. I have to say those days were pretty fantastic, and I'd love to get to that stage again. What do you think, Millie? Do you think we'll get to that stage again?
Well, Millie's busy sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So we said image was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we touched on that. Style, so you like prints and stuff like that. Range, and what else?
The uniqueness. What we talked about.
Uniqueness. Oh yeah, so coming from an original place, not copying.
Yeah.
And then, have we got any more comment? Let's have a look and see what else we got. Passion.
Yeah. Hugely important.
Passion.
Hugely important.
And a big package. Apparently.
I was going to say it's the little things that please people, but yeah, sometimes it's the big things.
That's when you're talking about me. Another one from Andy Martin. A good vocalist has to be able to complement a song perfectly, and I think we touched on that as well. Just find that sweet spot when writing the vocals that just clicks with the music. You don't have to have the best range, but you have to be accurate and find that sweet spot, be passionate and not afraid to express yourself. That's really important as well. And don't care what anyone else thinks, because at the end of the day, everyone else thinks something different to what the next one does. And some people will like you and some people won't like you. Some people think you're arrogant, some people will understand that you're just having a little joke or whatever. And so, yeah, it is really important to be yourself. If you can't be yourself, then at least use the stage to be the performance that you've always wanted to be, I think.
Yeah.
Rory Petts has said, musically, ability to deliver lyrics quickly and clearly is something I enjoy. Interesting. I think my favourite vocalist was Wayne Static when I got into metal. Not a massive fan of mixing clean and guttural vocals, but once again, that's his taste.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. For me, an ability to switch between stage personality and being humble and personable off stage is a big thing with vocalists. So what do you think, again, how would you judge how I am off stage to what I'm like on stage?
You are...
Let's talk about me.
Hey, Alan Partridge. I think you're able to do that. You're very different on stage to what you are off stage, because you become your music when you go on stage, and the passion you put into your songs and your performance is brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much. You could be honest.
I'm genuinely being honest.
We sat down before this and I said, look, if you think there's something shit about me, you can say it, and I'm completely fine with it. Yeah, I think it's important to let people know how our lives are and, you know, how we go and do these things. So, yeah, what else have we got? What else have we got here? Joel Bailey, vocal flexibility, different techniques, good breath control, good stage presence, interacts with crowd and band, and can sing in tune. Singing in tune. For me, I don't see singing in tune as an absolute. Maybe I'm just trying to make excuses for myself. I don't know. But yeah, you should definitely try and make the effort to keep in tune. Unfortunately for me, a lot of the places I play, there's no monitor, or it's not been controlled very well, and I've tried in-ears and might be going back to that. But generally, I think, yeah, I've sort of stayed in pretty much the range of being, you know, in the right keys and stuff like that. I really hate it when bands are so off-key, it's off-putting. So yeah, I get that. Again, we got another one from Martin Jack. Vocal flexibility and ability to accept voice limitations, which comes with age and stage experience. Yes. And he's also put, look, Fish is a good example of that sort of singer. And this is a coincidence because we were just talking about.
We were just talking about because it's Fish on Friday.
Yeah, it's Fish on Friday, and Marillion is one of my big inspirations.
Yeah.
Although you probably wouldn't hear it in the music, the poetry and the uniqueness of his voice. Although some people compared him to Phil Collins a little bit, I don't think the writing's anywhere near the same. I think Phil Collins is very pop orientated. Yeah. The earlier Genesis stuff with Peter Gabriel, maybe a little bit more, but yeah. Doug Smith said, starts with a person who can, in fact, sing, and who has good discipline in their life toolbox.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I like that as well. I would like to know what you think is in my toolbox.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm the right person.
Pull out a load of dildos.
Don't know if I'm the right person to do that. I'd like to know what he thinks should be in a good.
He's from a band called Core.
Okay.
Yeah, and Chris, our ex-guitarist, went out and done some shows with him.
Okay.
And that's how we got to meet. Well, not meet, but meet online.
Yeah.
Paul Hafner, able to sing in key and hold high notes. Hold high notes. I mean, how high are we going? Really? Because I can't hold high notes.
Again, that's down to your vocal range, isn't it?
I can do high notes.
Maybe he got excited about my Susan Boyle comment.
Maybe. Kitty Chalmondley Featherstone Ha.
That's a name and a half. I love that.
As said, vocal flexibility, good breath control. Not good breath. Good breath. Good breath control and vocal note stability. So the conclusion seems to be pretty high here, that it is vocal note stability seems to be quite high on people's opinions. Michelle Flynn, I think the mark of a good vocalist is being able to invoke emotions in the listener.
Definitely. Wholeheartedly.
So is that like, making the hairs stand on end when you're watching a band? I haven't had that since I watched Tool.
Okay.
And because Maynard James Keenan is, you talk about being on pitch. He's on pitch every time. And yeah, I mean, like, they're not love songs, do you know what I mean? I don't get invoked in that way, really.
No.
But the sweetness of the arrangement and the tone of his voice and the way it delivers.
But it's how
it
makes you feel.
For me,
then.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it comes from a lot of different things all together, doesn't it? Really. So we're going to wrap this up now, and sorry if I haven't answered your questions. It's just haven't got round to it all. But thank you for joining in, and I want to know from you, what should we talk about next? We could probably do it again next week, couldn't we? Well, I don't know if it's too near Christmas and people will be out panic buying like I might be. But yeah, if somebody's got a good topic that you would like us to talk about, maybe the package, we could go more into detail with the whole band rather than not penis.
I never mentioned a word.
Yeah. Is it necessary to be sexy in music? is it necessary? It is necessary.
It's an added bonus, shall we put it like that?
Because like Muse isn't sexy.
No, but when somebody is able to portray to portray that sexiness, it certainly helps when you're watching them. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
Carolyn knows what I'm talking
I
about.
can't really think. I don't think I've ever gone to see a band based on how sexy the singer is.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it adds to the experience if somebody is.
But you do tend to find that a lot with women. They tend to go with whoever's the sexiest. I like that band. They're really good. They sound awesome. And like, you know,
That's why I like Bon Jovi.
Mind you, did you or did you not like Fergal Sharkey? No, you didn't. See, there you go. That concludes it.
Oh my God, no! I wouldn't say he
What
had
about-
sex appeal at all.
Go on, give me a band that you like where the singer's not attractive, but you've still gone and seen them. Because you've seen Bryan Adams, you've seen
Yeah.
Bon Jovi.
Trying to think who I've been and seen now.
Me.
Yeah, I love you, Bubbles. I don't know. Okay, Meatloaf.
You've been to see Meatloaf?
No, I wish I had. I wish I had gone and seen him because, again, he's not somebody I would think is particularly handsome or sexy, but he was able to write amazing music and perform it amazingly.
All right, well, I'm going to stop there because maybe we'll talk more about that next week. I don't know. But just before we go, I just want to ask you guys if you wouldn't mind signing up to our mailing list at hedra.uk. That's the email for the subscription. And if you put in the subject title Hedra Legion, because we're going to be running newsletters and probably things like this from January next year, and we'd really appreciate your subscription and support. And Millie's basically begging for it. She's saying, like, where are all these subscriptions? Hey, where are they? Can you kiss? Come on. All right, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we'll maybe see you next week. It depends on how we are going to get received for this one. If there's many shares and, you know, popularity, then we'll keep doing it, and maybe get the rest of the band over as well for a curry and a chat and a little
Tash, that means you're invited as well.
questions with Nat. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, anyone's welcome. Just come round. Yeah, we'll have a party. Yeah. Okay, guys, and girls and dogs and whatever else. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon, I hope. Bye.